Hello, and welcome to Tuesday DJ Gig Tips on a Saturday afternoon between club dates. I'm working this weekend, Friday and Saturday. And you may hear Blanca speaking very loud Spanish on the phone because I think she's talking to her mom. She's normally not that loud. Anyway, this video, as all the Gig Tip videos, are brought to you by Vibo, the music planning app. Something happened at the club last night that I need to talk about. I made a post, and when I make posts, sometimes I assume a lot. I've been a wedding DJ since I was 17 years old. I'm 52 now, so I know a thing or two about how things work at weddings, and I'm also a pretty intuitive guy. I know when I'm being hustled. I know when I'm being lied to. I know when I'm being misdirected. Pretty good at sussing that out. And maybe I'm better at it than a lot of people. I don't know. But I made a post assuming a lot. I made a post on social media assuming that people kind of knew the same kind of stuff I know. And I don't think some do. So I need to give a little bit of explanation and context with this post to maybe help a few people understand what really happened. And this is a picture from the club last night. This is part of a bachelorette party that came into the club. And I said something to someone that felt really good. Let me read it to you. And it's in regard to this picture. Bachelorette party came into the club. Girl comes up and says, I have a request from the bride, ... Didn't say what the request was. Didn't think it mattered. To this, I replied, I'm not taking any shit from her tonight. Man, that felt good. And it really did. It felt good to just call it out like that. Now, I'm going to give you a little context here. Let me read you this explanation post I made here. I didn't say it to be mean. What I meant was tonight, she's not any more special than anyone else here. The fact that it came from her is really of no importance to me, nor carries any more clout than if it came from anyone else. This isn't her wedding. It's a bachelorette party in a public place. I'm not obligated to change the direction of what I'm doing here at her whim. She can save that for the DJ she hired for her wedding. Now, below that, I get a comment from Dennis Bose. Okay, seems like a real nice guy. But Dennis, I think, is a really nice guy. And I think he read this and took this the wrong way. This is what Dennis writes. Wow, she's the club's client. Celebrating. A little compassion and helping to make her night memorable can go a long way. For her, the club, and a whole bunch of other clients. And a lot of people kind of were like, oh, hold on a minute, Dennis, and wrote some comments. I'm going to read the entire reply to Dennis because I don't think I could riff on this as eloquently as I wrote it. Having been a wedding DJ since I was a teenager, I have heard the bride wants to hear request angle many times. Most of the time, it's a hustle. The bride never asks for anything. Usually, a bridemaid or a drunk friend from college wants to hear something way out of left field and thinks the DJ will feel obligated to not only play it, but will play it right away if the person writing the check is asking for it. In this case, during an up-tempo top 40 set, the request was for WAP by Cardi B. I don't care who's asking for WAP at this club. I'm not playing it, period. I'm not. It's just not that kind of place. Now, if this would have been an actual wedding, what I do is go to my client, the bride, who I'm on a first-name basis with, and ask if she actually set someone up to request that particular song. When I do that, the answer is always 100% of the time been a hard no. And the song in question is the polar opposite of what the bride actually wants to hear at her wedding. It is worth mentioning that I did change course and indeed played an alternate Cardi B track and a similar popular follow-up in exchange for WAP. When I did, a few from her bachelorette party went out on the floor and stood there, but didn't know how to dance. The bride was not one of those on the floor. Have a look at this picture. I took this picture immediately after I played the alternate Cardi B song. The bride is not out there. She was just strikingly beautiful and was at the bar because she didn't care about the song. Somebody else did. When the bride, who was one of 100 equally important people in the club last night, did come up and make a request, it was for something very Jason Mraz-esque, and the whole bachelor party went out on the dance floor and had to sing along. So it wasn't WAP or anything like WAP. It was, I don't know what it was. I don't remember. It wasn't a song I was familiar with. It was from 2012. I had it from one of my Top Hits USA CDs or DVDs that I get, which is a really good service, by the way. But yeah, it was nothing WAP-esque or anything like a Cardi B or a Megan Thee Stallion song. Dennis, you got to learn when you're getting hustled by somebody. You can't assume that the rando who comes up and wants to completely change directions of where you're at is being honest with you when they say the bride wants to hear a song, because it's been my experience that the bride didn't want to hear this at all. This could get you in trouble. You could have a client that you're working with and they have expressed that they don't want a certain kind of music. It happens all the time at weddings. They want to hear very specific things. And they have a really hard don't playlist. And if a bridesmaid or somebody says, hey, are we going to hear whatever tonight? They could say to them, no, I don't want that played tonight. So, I want it played. I don't care how the bride feels about this, or how my friend feels about this, or how my cousin feels about this. I'm going to tell the DJ she asked for it, and the DJ is going to play it, because it's important if she asks for it. I know the hustle, all right? I'm not falling for it, and you shouldn't either. Please be cautious with this. I think people are generally good, but once they get alcohol in their system, they do pretty rotten things sometimes, pretty thoughtless things sometimes. They get selfish, and they get bold, and they get brave, and they'll lie to you. And they do it all the time. I do not fall for the bride wants to hear request hustle, especially if it's out of left field, like way out of left field. It could be a situation where your client has said, look, we don't want any line dances tonight. And then, Karen comes up and says, hey, the bride wants to hear the Cupid Shuffle. Look, I know better, all right? I already know they don't want any line dances tonight. WAP is a great example. I'm willing to bet that if this person from the bachelorette party would have came up and asked me for something that was more in tune with what I was already playing, there would have been no the bride wants to hear prefix to it, because it was reasonable. It's always the bride wants to hear when it's an unreasonable left field request. And in that case, if you have any doubt, even if you know it's crap, walk over to this bride of yours and say, hey, this person over here asked me to play this song and said that you were asking for it. Did you ask for it? No, I didn't ask for that. Oh my gosh. Thank you for coming to me with that. Tip for you. Pro tip. And again, I've been doing this forever, okay? I've been doing this for a very, very long time. And these are the kind of things that are red flags. You got to watch for it. If it was an actual wedding, you got to watch for it. And again, at the club, I am not obligated to play anything because the bride wants to hear it. That carries no clout, Karen. I'm sorry. If you want to hear something out of left field, do your best. But the fact that the bachelorette in your wedding party wants to hear something doesn't matter, especially if it's WAP by Cardi B. That's it. I'm turning this camera off. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you so much. More videos to come. Practice and enjoy.